Hello everyone, Chris here. Welcome to the ISE wrap-up webinar. We're just going to wait 1 more minute for some more people to join and then we'll start. So just 1 more minute and then we'll start. Thank you. Okay, I think that's 1 minute past now. Thank you everyone. Let me turn on my webcam. Welcome everyone to this ISE wrap-up webinar. I'm Chris Mullins. I look after the product marketing for Sony Professional Displays and Solutions business unit at Sony, and I'm here with Joel. So if you want to introduce yourself quickly, Joel.
Sure, my name is Joel Mulpeter. I'm Director of Product Marketing for Crestron.
Yeah, so thanks Joel for joining us here. I mean, in this presentation, we want to really take you through what happened at ISE, quick wrap up of ISE, what Sony and Crestron presented during that show. I think for me personally, it feels like a distant memory already, but it's good to recap and also highlight the partnership that we have and have had between Sony and Crestron for many years, and just to reintroduce that again with all of our channel partners. So overall, the presentation probably all in around 40 minutes. We'll go through the agenda here on the left. If you have any questions at all, you can enter those, I think, on the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. We can share the slides after, so there are some links and some resources that you can access afterwards. Yeah, you can expect that after the webinar. So to start with, I would just like to introduce PD&S. I think it's this is the Sony Professional Displays and Solutions business unit. I think many of you know us quite well, but I'd like to just recap who we are and what we do. So our purpose at PD&S is to enhance engagement, connection, and communication through unique user experiences and best-in-class technology, and with the vision of being the partner of choice, developing sustainable growth together. And we have a wide range of display products, as you can see on screen, from BRAVIA to Crystal LED. Some of you may have seen our spatial reality display at ISE. Also our projection systems, cameras, microphones, and also some image analytics devices as well. All of these products and solutions are kind of underpinned by Sony's core technologies, especially with display products. We have our Sony picture processing X1, XR processors. This is how you really get a Sony image when you're using a Sony display, whether it's a projector, whether it's a BRAVIA, whether it's an LED. We have a consistent level of image quality throughout all of our display products. And with projectors also, we have our laser light source technology, our panel technology with SXRD and 3LCD, again, deliver those superior visuals. We also have a wide range of products, inch sizes, brightnesses, to basically fulfill your project needs. And we combine that with professional solutions, the ability to integrate flexibly with our products, and we deliver some great after-sales service with prime support. 2 new solutions that we introduced at ISE was HEOS and Remote Device Manager. So I'll be talking about those in more detail. and also our APIs that we have with our products enable, like the partnership with Crestron, to deliver greater experiences with our products and our partners combined. And all of this is kind of underpinned by our environmental strategy, which is our road to zero, where we're striving to achieve zero environmental footprint by 2050. This has been our strategy for the last 15 years already. This was introduced in 2010. Every 5 years, we have our short-term targets which step us one part closer to this goal. We have various eco labels that support our messaging down to the product level with EPEAT or corporate level with EcoVadis. Just to note, just yesterday, we got awarded for the 7th time one of the world's most ethical companies. So this is always an award we're very proud of. It's one of our core kind of company values, is to be ethical. So this perfectly aligns with our vision, our purpose that we're showing on this side, and it's kind of validated by this organization. So this is PDS. I think you know us quite well, and we have had, I think for some time now, we'll get into that, a very strong partnership with Crestron, and this is where Joel's here as well. And I think really, I mean, Joel, maybe you can talk to this. It's all about kind of elevating standards basically between our two companies and delivering better experiences and simplifying the setup of those experiences for our resellers as well. So for example, Crestron support basically all of our PDS portfolio, and also our BRAVIA BZ series natively supports Crestron XIO and Crestron Connected in the firmware. So it's very straightforward to set up and connect to Crestron services. And it's all with the intention to make it as easy as possible to manage, monitor, and maintain Sony products within the Crestron kind of ecosystem. So let me move on to maybe the partnership, the history of the partnership. So interestingly, it's actually been a partnership for quite some time, more than 15 years, in fact, and it all kind of came out of the residential side of the business. Both Crestron and Sony have a strong heritage in custom installation, born through being able to control products to have kind of a seamless user experience in kind of high-end custom install, so residential use cases. So you can see all the way back in 2008 with the BRAVIA XBR7, it was actually a 52-inch. I think that was when 52-inch was actually a large screen back in 2008. We had the IR driver as an example, infrared driver with Crestron. Been various other models over the years. We kind of started off with infrared control of the devices, then kind of moved into IP from around 2013 with projectors as well. And then I think from 2014, Sony kind of standardized our BRAVIA control, like IP control schema and API. And then in 2016, there was this driver was kind of released by Crestron to basically control BRAVIA devices. And I think this is one of our kind of benefits from Sony, is that we've had a very stable IP for over the long term. I mean, this is nearly 10 years old now, and it's still kind of our standard IP control mechanism. And then as we get past kind of 2016 into 2018, we kind of move into our professional portfolio. So we continue obviously to support our residential solutions, but also when we introduced our BZ series, our professional displays, and our wider professional portfolio, we obviously worked hard with Crestron to develop these kind of native solutions with the Crestron Connected and XIO startup services are available on those devices to really simplify the integration. And that's when also, Crestron have introduced further management systems cloud services. So I don't know, Joel, if you want to talk to Crestron's timeline here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, Crestron's always been, started as a control company, right? All those 50 years ago, controlling slide projectors and all that kind of stuff. But these days evolved on to having a lot more products in our portfolio. But one of the things we really have focused on through the years is making sure that when we are controlling devices or endpoints in the system, that we want to help normalize those as much as possible. And Sony's been a great supporter of that, of looking at as you move from Sony display to display, maybe upgrade a space. That consistency of always having the Crestron connected stack in there means that you can literally replace one Sony display with another and you get exactly the same experience from a control perspective. Still turns on the same way, still switches inputs the same way, still reports the same way to our cloud services as well. So that driver consistency, that's really what drives that ease of management and ease of monitoring. And the integration between Sony and Crestron, it is deep, right? It's not just an API consumption. We are loading SDKs into firmware. There's obviously a lot of work that the two companies do behind the scenes to make all that work and make sure that that's easy to consume. But we do that so that on the far end, as you're actually controlling those devices and putting those devices into systems, you do get to take advantage of all of that consistency. So Crestron, the company, we have evolved our Crestron connected technology stack. That did start, as Chris said, back in 2005 or so when we started putting Ethernet ports on our control processors. It was in the very early 2000s we started doing that, and we developed Crestron connected. And then over time we've added things like cloud services with XIO Cloud to that. And now those devices today, devices that are running Crestron connected, and the Sony devices, of course, that have that, they are natively connecting to our cloud services, right? They're not connecting through a Crestron device, they are talking directly to our cloud services, and that's that SDK advantage embedded in the devices. So again, just enhancing more and more of that integration. And then, outside of that, we obviously have always supported controlling devices generically, and Sony's been a great supporter of getting drivers written either with Crestron, with Sony writing them themselves, or our CSP, our Crestron service provider community, to write drivers to control other devices as well in that portfolio. So really just making sure everything from Sony, when there's a Crestron processor in the space or any other Crestron system, it works seamlessly together.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Joel. Yeah, more than 80 products now on the application market at Crestron. So more than 80 drivers for Sony products. So yeah, I think we're covered, I think, for most scenarios. Just moving on. Also, I think something that happened, I think fairly recently, maybe it was in the second half of last year. I know that Crestron also moved their offices, right, to Belgium. And I think as part of this move, again, I think we wanted to cement our partnership, and BRAVIA displays were also introduced in your new office space, I would say, in Belgium. I would probably try and pronounce it. Is it Mechelen? I'm not sure how to even pronounce it.
Yep. We did set up a new office. We shifted offices in Belgium. So in Mechelen is where our current office is. And yeah, that is really our HQ for our European operations. And in that office, we have a full training center, our CTI, Crestron Training Institute, and we set that up with Sony displays across the board. We are doing more expansions to that space as well around things like experience centers and other things that we'll keep adding and keep building that space out. But today, all of the displays in the training rooms, in the meeting rooms, they're all Sony displays in that space. So again, a great testament to that partnership.
Yeah, we have a thing in we call it kind of a dog fooding, right? If you actually consume the services and your products and the solutions within your offices, right, you can finally tweak and improve enhance the solution if you're using it yourself in your own offices, right? We try and do this as much as possible in our Sony HQ as well. But yeah, it's a great testament. I think it says that in this rather long quote at the bottom here, but creating that seamless experience from people coming in, experiencing Crestron and BRAVIA throughout the office, also in the training center, and then through to what they would actually deliver in an end product. It's all seamlessly the same solution. And then, let's talk about ISE. I know, I think many people were there. I think nearly 90,000 people were at ISE. From these pictures, most of them at the Crestron booth, it seems. But I don't know, Joel, if you want to quickly give a recap of, I think you've got 3 highlighted solutions here, right, to talk through about what you wanted to highlight from ISE this year.
Yeah, we had a great show. ISE is, it is our biggest show we do throughout the year. It is, as Chris said, 90,000 people. There's a lot of people to gather in one space. So it was certainly busy. We filled the 4 days with lots of great conversations with customers, both in the channel and users. The whole gamut comes to this show from all sorts of verticals. So we show off a heap of our commercial solutions in a good 70% of our booth, and then a heap of our residential solutions in the other 30% as well. And across that whole booth, we had Sony displays running across the whole space. So yeah, that was a great partnership to have on display there. But really the show for us, we launched a few new features and new products here and there, but these shows are always about showing everything we do, right? We want to show every solution we have on the booth, as many as we can possibly fit on there. It is a big booth, so there's a lot of time we can spend in walking people around and showing them the tour of stuff that maybe we could have released 6 months ago, but they just haven't had a chance to get their hands on yet, or talk about directly to customers and do demonstrations. So again, it was a fantastic show, healthy conversations. I think for our industry as a whole, it was really, really good to see 90,000 people come and stand in one spot or one location and talk about all the great things we do as an industry. So when we see all these people come back together, it's always positive. Good things are happening both on the Crestron booth and definitely outside of that as well. So yeah, very exciting show as a whole. We did have 3 solutions we kind of showed at that show, some that are shipping soon, and yeah, a couple that are shipping already. But if you want to jump to the next slide, Chris, I'll talk about the AirMedia Connect endpoint. So AirMedia is a platform for Crestron, is our wireless presentation and conferencing platform. The way we kind of wrap that up is talking about presentation, right, getting content to displays quickly and easily, wirelessly, quite often with AirMedia. Conferencing, right, bringing USB devices back so that you can do Teams, Zoom calls, GoToMeeting, whatever your platform of choice is on your soft codec or laptop. Adding digital signage to that experience as well, so those displays in the room are not showing dead pixels or empty space. They're showing content when the space is not being used, messaging for the company, all those kind of things, and then automating and controlling that space. That's really what the AirMedia platform is focused on. Obviously, the presentation of content on the screen, the digital signage aspect, the control, all of that feeds into that Sony story as well, where Sony displays make a great addition to that platform. At the show, we did launch what we call the Connect Endpoint, which is a new device to get content from those laptops to the AirMedia platform. So in AirMedia, we have transmitters and we have receivers. Think of receivers as what sits behind the display, connected to that Sony display and whatever your USB peripheral is for conferencing. It controls the display, it receives the content, and then the transmitter is the device that connects to your laptop or your portable device. We have a wireless device that we have had in the market for a good 2.5 years now, called the Connect Adapter. That's a little circle device you see in the picture on the left-hand side there. But what we did launch was the Connect Endpoint. So the Connect Endpoint is taking all that great technology of the Connect Adapter and moving it into a permanently installed device. The Connect Adapter, perfect to move around a room and hand out to people, but there are spaces where people want to secure that device and not have it have the ability to leave the room at all. So that's where the Connect Endpoint comes in. The other advantage of the Connect Endpoint is now we shift from wireless only to a wired methodology as well. So whilst the Connect Endpoint does do wireless, you can roll a podium out, no cables whatsoever, connect a laptop, it'll power off the laptop and cast to the receiver. We can also now connect it to the network physically as well. So in that case, PoE powered, connected to the network, it's already booted up and online, so you don't have to wait those 2 or 3 seconds it takes to boot up. It'll just send content straight away. And now you can leverage your existing infrastructure to get content to that AirMedia receiver. So in situations where wireless networks aren't warranted, that could be because of the distance between the receiver. It could be for security implications as well. People don't want wireless transmissions. All our wireless transmissions are secure, but we do a lot of business in places like government and high-end enterprise sector where that's super important to not have wireless technology operating. And then also in places like education where, again, the distance between the receiver and where that wireless adapter is could be quite far. That's where we can use things like the Connect Endpoint. So again, multiples of those can be connected, up to 8 we support. You can mix and match them with the wireless device as well. So The Connect endpoint, it really is a Swiss Army knife of ways to get content from a laptop to the screen. Sony display is what we would suggest, and then bring the USB peripherals back as well for those conferencing applications. We did add a few extra connectors to this as well, now supporting HDMI and USB data ports on this as well. So previously we were just supporting USB-C only. So if you do have legacy laptop fleets or you have other devices that you want to connect under that table, such as a room PC or something, you can leverage that HDMI connection for that, the USB-C for the laptop that's coming into the space. So the Connect endpoint, it is shipping really soon in the next 4 weeks or so. We should have that out in the market and shipping. And it will be, again, just another way to get content into the AirMedia platform. Works with all existing AirMedia systems, Series 3 systems that we've had in market for a long time now. It's just simply adding another transmitter. So firmware update and ready to go. You can jump to the next one. The other thing we showed at the show was Visual AI Direction. So Visual AI Direction is an addition to our Automate VX platform. Automate VX for us is a platform of multi-camera in conferencing applications. So in those high impact spaces where you want multiple cameras around the room, a bit of an outside in view, we have our system called Automate VX based on our One Beyond cameras. And what that does is using data from microphones in the space, beamforming microphones with directional data baked into them, we get to pick which camera gets the best shot in the room. And with Visual AI Direction, we enhance that a little bit further by, even without people speaking, knowing which direction they're looking in. But Automate VX for us, it is, as you can see in that small little picture there, a way to have a floor plan of a room. You draw these virtual mics in there, and then based on that data, we'll switch cameras around. We can composite feeds together so you can have 2 cameras on the screen at one time. But as people speak and conversation just flows around the room, the whole idea is to make it as natural as possible so that anyone externally or remote feels like they're as close to the room as they can be. All those switches happen in what we call broadcast quality. So the switching is not through camera movements. You'll never see a camera move in Automate VX. It's always doing a clean camera switch. The cameras move as the person starts to speak. So it's all very, very smooth, and then it makes that switch to the camera. With Visual AI Direction, what we're really focused on is adding that AI element to detecting where people are looking. In Automate VX, we have a bunch of AI in it, Edge AI. In this case, it lives in the server itself, the box that sits in the room. And we have had the ability to do what we call auto framing for around a year now. And auto framing makes sure that people are centered in the camera shot, right? So as they lean left and right, the camera will just follow them and track them. What we're doing with Visual AI Direction is stepping that up another level, where now we are not only detecting whether they're centered in the frame, but we're also using things like their eyes and nose to detect which direction they're looking. So if someone is looking at the CEO at one point of a call, looking this way, and then they turn to look at the far end, you won't see the side of their head as they make that transition. What we'll do instead is we will pick a camera that has the best angle of incidence to be always centered on their face. So again, there's a little bit of AI processing there to know where the nose is pointing, where the eyes are pointing, and that will dynamically switch. So again, just an enhancement to Automate VX that brings that AI capability. Again, when you have those 6, 8 cameras around the room, we always just want to make sure we can capture the best angle to make sure that people at the far end feel like they're really a participant in that meeting, not just sitting on the side.
Joel, I think there's a video here, right? I didn't want to interrupt you halfway through. I don't know if you can hear the audio, but if not.
Yeah, so yeah, in this video, it's a great example. You can see the gentleman there speaking. As he turned, the camera switched to a different one, and you'll see this guy here, Alec in this case. As he turns, the camera switches again. So in that case, we are just simply picking cameras based off where their face is looking. The audio aspect, or them speaking, is letting us know that that spot is an active participant. And then we have a camera dedicated to that shot that we start with, and then we can pick any other candidate camera based on the direction they are facing. So again, fully dynamic, fully configurable. You can say, I want these 3 cameras to be candidate cameras and these ones not to be, so you don't get weird shots at the back of people's heads. But all of that is, yeah, completely configurable, but it's really just that multi-camera AI aspect, all of that feeding into fitting into that Teams call, Zoom call, whatever your platform is. And then in the room itself, you can see in that example, that's one of our spaces in our Boston office. It is our sightline room where we have multiple displays around the room as well and cameras between those displays. In this case, we tend to call that sightline experience, where you're, as a participant in the room, you're just looking at where the displays are. And the cameras happen to be right in the middle there, so that when you're talking to the far end, you get a front-on shot. If you do look at anyone in the room, visual AI direction will come in and make sure that you're always centered in that frame first off, and then make sure we have the right angle of that person as well.
Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Multi-view. Yeah, so multi-view was something we did a tech preview of at the show. It's going to release a little bit later in half one of 2025. We are progressing very quickly towards that goal. Multi-view is the ability to take our brand new DMMBX 384. We do have a small typo in that slide, sorry about that. 384 encoders and decoders, some of them were released late last year as an addition to the DMMBX AV over IP lineup, and really enhance what we can do with those products. So DMMBX, obviously an AV over IP product we've been selling in the market for a long time. It is all about taking any source, multiple sources in a space, and sending it to multiple displays in a space. We leverage the network to do that. We encode the sources over a 1 gig network. Really allows us to scale to any size room. Could be something simple as a couple of sources to 1 or 2 displays, or 1 display, right up to your biggest training rooms with multiple displays around the space, all over a 1 gig network. So it's very scalable. We see very secure. Crestron really does pride ourselves on our security, and in this case, DMMBX is very secure. We have a lot of government-based approvals for that, and we sell a lot into the government space all across the world, making sure that every stream we put on the network is super secure and safe, so no one can ever look at that content. And then doing that all with the flexibility of adding devices, picking the right devices in the AV over IP platform for exactly what your use case is. With multi-view, it is something we did add to those new devices, the 384s, that allows us to composite multiple sources on 1 decoder. So whilst we have encoding boxes put in encoding mode, or hardware built to purely encode, we also have devices that decode. In this case, the 384 can be selected between which one you want it to do. So you would have 384s on the encoding side and 1 on the decoding side. And any one of those sources that come in being encoded can be composited in those dynamic layouts, as you can see on that little animation there, where we are picking up multiple sources, up to 6, putting them into 16 fixed layouts we have in the platform today. We are looking to add more to that as well. They're all in a 16:9 envelope. We will be showing in future shows things like 21:9 envelopes and 32:9 envelopes as well, where again, we're picking up those sources, we're compositing them on the screen in different ways, and dynamically using Crestron control. You can go and pick which source you want to show, pick which audio you want to listen to, and pick which layout you want to have as well, all dynamically. So the layouts themselves don't change, they're fixed from Crestron, built into the product. So you don't move windows around per se, but you can change between a 4-up or a 3-up or a side-by-side or whatever kind of layout you are looking for. We see this as a huge use case in things like operation centers, right, where people have 2 large displays or an LED wall and they want to bring some sources in. We see it in courtroom applications where they want to put things side by side, content from camera feeds and content from, evidence and all those kind of things that courtrooms like to use, and overhead cameras and all that stuff. And then right into education setups as well, and training rooms. So a heap of really unique use cases. We said this sits just below a video wall processor and capabilities wise, but it's all natively built into the boxes. So it'd just be a free firmware update for those 384 devices. And then we have a few other little niceties with this as well. We can do things like color borders around the sources as well. So when you do want to put a green border and a purple border and a yellow border around those devices to identify sources, we can do that as well dynamically, change those colors, turn the borders on and off. We can put things like text overlay. In things like sports bars, you might want to put a border around it to let people know which audio they're listening to at any given time. You usually don't want to listen to 2 audio sources at once, just one. You might want to visually see multiple sources. We can do that and show which one's being audio projected through the room as well. So we're really excited to see what people will do with this technology. It's pretty freeform for all our great channel partners out there and end users to dream up what they can do. But yeah, super excited to have that out. as I said, it'll be 384 devices only. A little bit later this year, we'll have that out as a free firmware update.
Cool, thanks, Joel. That looks really cool. I have to have a play with that in our HQ as well, I think. Also, yeah, at Sony, just to follow up Joel's session on Crestron, we're also going to just give you a quick overview of some key highlights from our Sony booth at ISE. So just to start, it was a fantastic show. Again, we showed a lot of solutions on our booth, from retail to corporate to education, also virtual production, and also general live production from our media solutions team. I won't be going through everything today, just these kind of core highlights in the bottom left here, with our BZ40L, our two new solutions, Remote Device Manager and Atrios, and also our partnerships I'd like to quickly touch upon. Also, we did win some Best in Show awards, which is always nice. The BZ40L, which is what I'll cover next. Our BRAVIA Projector 9, our home projector, won Best in Residential category, and also our BRC AM7 for AI-driven PTZ cameras as well. And one thing we're also continually proud of at Sony is that we always try to do these shows in a sustainable way. And I think for the second or maybe even third year now, we've been awarded a sustainable booth certification, which means we kind of designed, built, operated, and then de-rigged this stand and materials all in a sustainable way, which is one of our key goals as well. So we'll start. We've got four things to run through. So the BZ40L series. So I think many of you may know this series as well. It's a kind of our flagship haze series from BRAVIA Professional Displays. It's a 700 nit display with a unique deep black non-glare coating, which is our unique anti-glare technology, as 47% haze with low reflection. It's available in 55-inch up to 98-inch with the 98 BZ53L. And this deep black non-glare enables you to have great picture performance, even in really challenging ambient light conditions. And the difference with this is it doesn't impact your image quality. So you can see on the right-hand side here, we had like a comparison between our BZ53L, which features deep black non-glare, and its predecessor, 98-inch. And you can see that, you don't have any reflections visible at all. But also one thing you get with this compared to normal haze is you get a really great black level. You don't have that kind of black level bleed that you can get through the dispersion of normal haze. This is thanks to the low reflection filter. So you get really deep blacks and basically really nice picture quality, which is obviously the priority with Sony. And you can see how that looks with just black content here. This is the 55-inch versus some competitor models. Black looks nearer black than other blacks, I would say. So hence the name, deep black non-glare. The other things we have with these products is you can get 5 years warranty. If you register, you can 5 years warranty free of charge, really cementing our reliability of our BRAVIA displays. Also really low power consumption with really good energy ranking. This can help with your cost of ownership. And if you manage to join us in our tech suite, we did like a wide viewing angle display where we were showing the amazing viewing angle, colors, brightness of these displays, even off angle versus other displays in the market. And I think it's quite surprising when you don't every day see them next to each other. But yeah, you can be guaranteed of great image quality from any angle with the 40L. Hence the award. So yeah, best at show in ISE 2025. Alongside that, we also launched some new solutions. We have a new solution called the Remote Device Manager. This is specifically for our professional displays. It basically enables you to deeply manage and control and provision your BRAVIA displays. So yeah, basically kind of separated into two parts, a provisioning part and a control and monitoring part. On the provisioning part, you can fully kind of register your devices before installation. You could do a bulk registration to the system. You can set up profiles. You can set up all your pro settings, your basic settings. If you want to deploy like a CMS app or something, you can configure this all before in multiple profiles. Then when you get to site, you can simply plug in the display, connect an Ethernet cable for internet, and then you can very simply just scan that QR code on the screen and the profile will be automatically pulled down to the device. So it saves you a lot of time, with a remote control for 10 minutes per display. Maybe it only takes a couple of minutes now and you don't need to get involved. So it stops kind of any human error as well. This provisioning tool is completely free free to use by anyone, anytime. No license associated with the provisioning side, so you can go ahead and you can access this link here, set up an account, and you can prepare your next BRAVIA deployment with this RDM application. Also, we have the control and monitoring aspect of this as well. So this enables you to do real-time monitoring, alert, troubleshooting. Also enables you to take screenshots and firmware updates and various other kind of deep integration things. For this, we have this is also included in the Remote Device Manager as a whole, and we have a free trial until the 1st of October for all this functionality. So for the next 6 months, you can log in, use provisioning as much as you like, also try out control and monitoring. After October 1st, we're planning to, there will be a license fee associated with this. So if you want to quote for projects, you can reach out to our account management team. They can get you some pricing for that as well. Obviously, we're here with Crestron, so I wanted to quickly highlight the differences between RDM and maybe Crestron's control solution. I think it's pretty obvious, but RDM is very much a BRAVIA-centric solution, only for our BRAVIA BZ lineup, last 3 generations, L, J, and H. Also, future series will be supported. And we have some very deep control, and we do provisioning. I think with Crestron, basically, it's much more of a wider solution. You're looking to control everything in a particular building or office space or various solutions. So that's kind of the main difference. This is purely BRAVIA only, mainly centered on retail applications as well. Whereas with Crestron, you're getting a wider control. In terms of BRAVIA control, I think on Crestron XIO, you can do some basic settings and monitoring. And we're currently in discussion with Crestron about introducing zero-touch provisioning via some Crestron services. So this is something to look forward to in the future as well. I don't know, Joel, if you have anything else to add here. I think that's the main differences, is maybe the focus of these 2 tools.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, XIO Cloud we really see as being capable of seeing everything in the room. So obviously the Crestron devices being part of that, Sony display, any other third-party devices that are Crestron connected can be seen as well. If you want to get that really deep dive and start to do things like push firmware or get those screenshots, you know, we have certain ways to link out of XIO Cloud to other platforms as well. Happy to talk about with anyone who has that question. We have ways to quick link out. Other than that, you know, it's jumping to that dedicated platform, just as you would jump to a dedicated platform like Teams Pro Portal or something to integrate to interrogate the Teams system. You know, we do see all these different tools as all working together in conjunction to deliver exactly what you need to monitor and manage those spaces.
Perfect, thanks, Joel. And then moving on, we also introduced a new AI solution called Atrios. Atrios is an edge AI platform and hardware ecosystem that enables cost reduction, real-time, and secure data handling. So it's kind of built off a new sensor that's developed by Sony. I mean, sensor technology is one of Sony's kind of core fortes, and we designed and developed one of the world's first intelligent vision sensor with built-in AI processing. This is the IMX500 sensor. It's kind of a typical camera sensor in terms of the pixels, but has an AI logic chipset as well included in the camera, which makes it kind of an edge AI camera sensor, which makes it also very small form factor here. You can see it on the right-hand side here. I think the benefits of Edge AI is quite well known in that when you're doing stuff with video, it can become quite costly to capture native video and then send it to the cloud, get it processed, get it back down. If you can do that on your edge device in the camera, you have lots of benefits. You have much less bandwidth requirements, storage requirements, consumption requirements. Also, it's much faster, and it has better privacy as well. So this camera doesn't actually capture images, it or doesn't send images anywhere. It only sends metadata of what's actually happening based on the AI training. So, which is very efficient, also very GDPR friendly. So if you are, well, we all are in Europe, very GDPR aware, this is where this kind of device can enable you to get those analytics without infringing any privacy aspects. And at ISE, we kind of had a small demo here with this camera where we were showing one of the many kind of use cases. These are just example use cases that can be developed for retail, and we were showing kind of people counting, gaze detection. So as people went across these 298 inches, we could count how many people there were, how many were standing there, were they looking at the left screen, were they looking at the right screen, how long were they looking there. That kind of face angle detection, similar to what Crestron are doing with their AI direction solution. Yeah, you can capture that data. You can also capture things about, you can profile the person, age, gender. It really depends on your AI model you're using. It's fully customizable, this Atrios system. We have an AI platform behind where we can work with you to train a specific AI model for your needs, whether it's in retail, or whether it's in corporate or any other solution. So if you are interested in what this can do, if you want an SDK or a device, I recommend you reaching out to Guillaume. He's in the PDS team. He can kind of direct you on your journey on the next steps with Atrios. Very interested to talk with any system integrators, CMS partners, or anyone for this solution going forward. So that's a very brief intro to Atrios. And then also we had kind of partnerships was a core focus of our booth as well. And one of our partnerships we've done in terms of retail was Stella McCartney. And the interesting thing with Stella McCartney is that they the partnership started kind of early 2024, where Stella reached out to us about Paris Fashion Week. They said that they wanted to only work with brands with a strong sustainability strategy, and they reached out to us to support them with their Paris Fashion Week. Interesting thing here, at least from a display point of view, was it's quite a challenging environment. It was in a big kind of conservatory in bright winter sunshine. So actually our deep black non-glare devices helped quite a lot in this scenario. But it was really the alignment between the two brands on our sustainability planning and actions that really drove us forward. And from that Paris Fashion Week, we're now deploying 11 flagship stores with BRAVIA BZ40Ls across Stella McCartney's key locations in many of the capital cities around the world. And we replicated a kind of Stella McCartney shop front at ISE. So yeah, they, as I've mentioned already, because of the deep black non-glare, the sustainability alignment and picture quality, it's very close relationship that we're looking to continue. And I think it's one thing that's quite powerful when you have two brands aligning on the similar goals. You can deliver some elevated experiences for customers. And it wasn't just with Stella. We also talked a lot about our CMS partners as well. We highlighted couldn't quite get over the 70 mark, but we had 69 CMS partners shown and logos shown on our booth. This is part of our general strategy. We are really looking to, as we say, grow sustainably with our channel, with our partners. This includes CMS partners. We want to make it as easy as possible for integrators to use their CMS of choice with BRAVIA. I think we have many of the key players now supported within our ecosystem. And special thanks to Grassfish, Pads4, Telelogos, and Zibo. They had live demonstrations of their CMS working on our SoC on the booth. So it's great to show that we can deliver content in high quality with these partners on the booth as well. And central to the booth, we had our, again, our sustainability was centered to our business. It was centered to our booth, and we were highlighting our Road to Zero goals here. We had a live tree, as you do, on the booth. It was actually replanted afterwards, after the show, in case anyone was worried about the tree. It has been replanted successfully. So this is, again, a key part of our ethos and strategy. So there's some of our solutions that we wanted to talk to. I think just to finish up, I just wanted to talk about the future of Sony and Crestron. Maybe just to start, I think it's really just to continue the great work that's already happening between the two partners, looking to get more deep integration between our products and solutions so that we can really simplify the integration for resellers. And there's a couple of things we're working on between Crestron and Sony. One is zero-touch provisioning for BRAVIA. This is something that hopefully can be announced in the near future. And also on the residential side, which is also a core part of our relationship, looking at to make auto discovery even easier with residential BRAVIA. Joel, I don't know if you have any other comments on this point.
Yeah, no, those are just two super important things we're working towards. Crestron Home is our residential platform, right? It is the platform of choice for our residential deployments, but that being, relatively core experience to that. When you have Crestron devices in there, you open up Crestron Home and it shows you all the stuff, and you pick which rooms it belongs in, and it makes some assumptions for you when you tweak that. We want to bring Sony into that same fold so that when you are deploying those systems, you open it up. Here's all your Sony displays. This is in the lounge room. This is in, the rumpus room or whatever, and it'll just, start to auto configure from there. And then the zero-touch provisioning has always been a staple of XIO Cloud, is that the devices themselves, have a certain identification to them. We use MAC address and serial number quite often. We want to be able to put that in without ever touching the device, just simply getting that as a data point. At the point of ordering, as the products are flying across the globe in whatever supply chain you have set up to get those to the site, to be able to provision those and bring those into the platform before overseeing them, start to apply settings, and then when you connect those devices, they will phone home, and when they phone home, they will be told what to do and how to be set up. So that's always been an important part of XIO Cloud, and we want to bring Sony into that fold as well.
Perfect, thanks, Joel. So I think that's all. I think we're, 45-ish minutes. We do have some resources just to share with you. So we'll share the slides which have all these links on. We have, just to highlight a few, BRAVIA Knowledge Center in particular, pro-bravia.sony.net. It has all, anything possibly you'd like to know about professional BRAVIA, how-to guides, videos, specification sheets, all these things about BRAVIA. So if you haven't got it favorited yet, I recommend it. Also our Alliance webpage, you can find out more about Crestron and Sony, also all our other partners. And if you have any concerns or technical questions you have, we also have our pre-sales team email here, where you can contact the European pre-sales team to find out more or help you solve any concerns we have with an upcoming project, etc. In terms of the new solutions, we've got a couple of links here. Again, our solution manager is Guillaume, so please feel free to contact him in the future. And we have the Crestron resource library here as well. I don't know if there's any others, Joel, you'd like to call out here, or if this is the main link.
Yeah, that's a great resource. We have obviously a website full of all sorts of feature pages of all those other solutions as well, and media and Automate BX and NVX. So instead of filling this page with all those extra links of all those products, if you just head to crestron.com, you can look up any of those as well, and you can reach out obviously to any of your Crestron contacts at all, or myself, to get any other details as well.
Perfect. Okay, so let's now that we have some time for the Q&A, let me just check what if there had been any questions at all. So I'm looking on the system as we speak. I think there doesn't questions. So it doesn't look like there's been any questions. So we must have been incredibly clear, Joel, in our presentation. So no questions as yet, but so I think we can probably close the webinar here. What we can do is we will obviously share with you the recording and the slides. And if you, feel free to reach out to us with anything you have in the future. So thank you very much, Joel, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks all. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers. Thank you.